Electro and Bono Movie Power Hour. You know what? Where's Hawk at? Listener discretion advised. Pansy.
Welcome back to the Electro and Bono Movie Power Hour. I am Electro. I got Bono right here by my side.
What's up, everyone?
And Oz is over there across the table on the keys, handling business.
Yeah.
The new year has started, and I thought there was no better way to start it than watching one of my favorite directors, if not the David Fincher's new movie. David Fincher hasn't made a fucking movie since Gone Girl.
Yeah.
Gone Girl came out in 2000 what?
And he did Mindhunter. That shit was awesome.
I love Mindhunter.
And come, that's dude.
Well, he hasn't made a movie since Gone Girl in 2014.
Dude, but like you're talking about like 10 or 8 1-hour episodes.
He didn't direct all of them.
Oh.
Fuck
But
David
he
Fincher,
no, but
fucking
loser,
No,
lazy fuck.
No, but he was heavily involved in making it. He didn't direct every single episode, but I mean,
that's like 2 or 3 movies, no?
Oh yeah, but I mean, he kind of looked over it, and you know how I know how David Fincher is. He's like
we'll get into it.
super perfectionist and shit. So like, even though he didn't direct it, I'm sure he spent countless hours or whatever just getting. Because even the episodes he doesn't direct, they feel like David Fincher fucking.
Yeah, he's too.
His
too
fucking
crazy.
fingerprints are all over that shit. Great fucking show, and yeah, so he did that for a couple of years. But
So was this the last movie of 2020 right here? This movie?
I don't
close.
think so.
I mean, it came out in December.
It did
Yeah.
come out in December.
Yeah.
No, it came out like in mid-December.
And whenever you look on Wikipedia, because this says November 13th, 2020
Boo.
release.
well,
Yeah.
that's the small theatrical release it had.
Yeah.
But when it came out on Netflix for the world to see was like December 14th or
December
13th.
4th.
4th.
Okay.
There you go. I knew there was a 4 in there.
Yeah.
I knew that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so again, he hasn't made a movie since
Gone
Girl in 2014. That's a 6-year gap right there for one of the greatest directors currently living to take. So
he's trying to get Gary Oldman.
So when you find out that it's a movie about the making of Citizen Kane, you're kind of like, what? Like, this is what you decided to make, huh? Like, whatever. You're David Fincher. I'm gonna watch whatever the fuck you make. But this is puzzling. Like, why
and on Netflix. It's just like, here you go.
Well, he's
got a 4-movie deal with them.
not only. I mean that he signed a new 4-movie deal with them, right? Or project,
Like I just said.
Yes, but I was going to elaborate. He has been in the Netflix game since House of Cards. He made House of Cards.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
What?
Yeah.
On this thing, yeah.
He made the first successful fucking series on Netflix.
He did House of Cards. That's some good trivia right there.
Yeah, so, I mean that's Kevin Spacey's in it. That's John
Yeah.
Doe, buddy. It's John
Did you ever
Doe.
see? I never saw it. to
I've
be
never
honest.
seen
I've
it, but I
of
heard
it.
it's a fucking amazing
I hear
show.
very amazing things. Kevin
Yeah.
He
Spacey.
likes the
Fincher.
diddler, huh?
Mm-hmm.
He
Two
likes
greats.
the diddler.
Two of the greats. Neither of them have done anything right.
Sins.
Maybe
not-
I heard Fincher's a creep. I don't know.
He
Kevin
likes-
Spacey's squeaky clean, but I heard.
Because
Set
I
him
don't
up.
like you.
Yeah, so he's been in the Netflix game for a while. He did that again. The first successful that's what kind of put Netflix on the map and saying like, hey, we're making shows, and people fucking loved it, right?
I was just telling you that I was watching The Office earlier, and there's a scene where I don't know who the receptionist is, but she's like, "Oh, Michael gets his
Pam, how dare you?
Oh,
Go on.
Pam's like,
Forgettable character. Don't worry about
Michael gets it right. I don't think she was one of the main
3
ones.
seasons on this bit.
But she's like, "Oh, Michael gets his Netflix delivered here."
Mm-hmm.
And at first I was like, are they trying to make a joke? And then I was like, oh shit.
Fuck no.
Like that was a thing.
Negative.
My boy, I would get so much Netflix.
Yeah.
Dude, there'd be red envelopes
Everywhere.
everywhere. My
Fucking
car was full of
Jesus
them.
Christ.
There wasn't a limit of how many you could have before.
I had the fucking highest thing. I'd get I'd
okay.
get like 4 every fucking delivery.
Yeah.
I'd make a fucking point to like do it every week. So I'd be getting like 4 DVDs
Netflix
a
needs
week.
to check out that account, bro.
Oh, yeah.
They
There's
look
a
into
lot
you.
of
They're gonna
movies.
fucking sue you so
Yeah,
hard
dude.
Why?
because they never got them back.
Yeah.
Oh
dude.
no, maybe all right. I'm gonna come clean. I did lose like 2 discs. Out of all of that, I maybe lost like 2 discs.
Couple years.
And I did just put that like they never got there or something. I was not gonna
Yeah,
pay.
very
dog ate
sketchy
him.
postal
Fucking dog
worker.
I was not gonna pay the fucking $20-something or whatever. I was like, fuck that. It never got here. The other 3 got here.
I'm missing one. Though.
But yeah, Sex and the City disc 1, season 3 did not make.
I'm still waiting for that.
And that what's crazy is that is still a thing you can do.
Oh yeah.
Nobody does it, but you can sign up for that disc thing to come.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's still like there's a lot of movies that are not on Netflix streaming, but basically everything is on physical media.
Mhm.
So if you really wanted to watch a movie, like we were like, fuck, where's it streaming?
Yeah.
Honestly, we should probably just add the disc shit to our Netflix so that when we want to do a movie that isn't streaming,
I
we
don't
can just
have
get
a
it.
DVD player though.
We're gonna get one for the
Yeah,
fucking
dude.
studio. Don't you worry
Yeah,
about
USB
that.
ready, you know, we're good.
You're gonna get it. Don't worry.
Funny you mentioned The Office too, because they actually it goes on
Funny.
several
There's
episodes.
so money.
They show how your queue works and how to do it and all that type of shit. Like, so it's ongoing. Like, there's Netflix
Really?
drops during the time, but now
I'm sure they
The
paid.
Office is off of Netflix because
They got fucked.
Peacock needs to cash in. Everyone's just doing the streaming thing now.
Peacock now available, $14.99.
Fuck you.
Get
Peacock.
all the greatest shows.
Oh no, I refuse to
Yeah.
to do like Peacock or CBS or whatever. All
Isn't
the
that
network-
what Hulu was? I thought Hulu was all the networks. They all got together.
Yeah,
right?
but then
Like-
Disney bought them up.
Damn. Kick
Mhm.
people out.
And
And
so
so
that-
CBS, whatever, King of Queens.
But it's
keep
still-
that.
I mean, that's still good. It keeps like limited seasons on, but basically you will get your fix there. But if you want to get into their back catalog, all of these fucking networks are gonna come out with their own streaming
Mhm.
It's
services,
a matter of time.
and we can just all fucking pray they fail and that they go back to the Hulu way or the Netflix way
But
and
see,
give us back our
everyone
shows.
was praying Disney was gonna fail, and everyone's on that Disney tip.
Disney is a different
They're about
animal.
to raise their prices too.
Disney's a different
Mhm.
animal. I would refuse to sign up for Peacock or CBS. Like for what? For network television
Yeah,
You
shows?
you're
also,
right, you're
you
right.
also
Fuck
get
that.
Nat Geo if you have Disney Plus. I forget about that a lot.
Oh yeah.
And it
There's,
comes with
dude,
ESPN
there's some
too.
cool ass documentaries, man. You just get
Mhm.
stoned and Nat Geo. You forget
ESPN
about it.
Plus is great. There's so many
No,
great
ESPN Plus is so
documentaries
worth
on
it.
there.
That to me, that I know that's corporate shilling or whatever, but yeah, ESPN Plus is hella worth it, dude.
There's so many great
There's a
documentaries.
bunch of shit.
And if you're an MMA fan like me and Bono are, that's MMA fucking heaven.
Soccer, they got Italian soccer.
They have everything.
They got you can go on there. There's always some live shit. And yeah, all the 30 for
Italy.
30s, dude.
Pizza.
30 for 30 is so.
Oh
God
hell
damn.
yeah!
Has
Oh,
Fincher done any 30 for 30s? We need to get that
Well,
guy
look,
on
Fincher's
there.
on Netflix, man, and he just dropped this one.
Yeah.
Mank.
So
And-
the fucking budget for this bad boy was between 20 and 30 mil,
That's like
Which
a
is-
fucking adequate.
No wonder it wasn't in
amount.
color.
which is like chill.
Yeah, that's like movies are rarely made for that amount anymore. They're either made for like fucking $7 million or like $100
Yeah.
million.
Yeah.
No one ever shells out 20-30 million for something.
And I mean, it was like practical. The movie was practical,
super
right?
practical.
It's ton dialogue heavy and all that type of shit.
It had, to me, what I loved about this movie is that obviously it was in black and white, if anyone hasn't seen it. But what I loved is it also seemed to try to make it seem like it was shot back in that time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one of the things that I saw is that all the audio track everything is all on one track, on one channel.
Mm-hmm.
So all the Foley, the music, all that shit, where again, now we're used to stereo sound, left and right, and they all have their own fucking channels and space to do all that. Everything is on one thing, which was the early way of doing it, like before 1950.
I mean, I'm not super huge on watching old movies or anything like that, but like if the essence of trying to keep it true to the time seems like what they were going for. But I did some research and I saw that the camera they used for this fucking thing is like real deal bad boy. In fact, Netflix has only used it once, and it's just for this fucking guy. And it's the red 8K monochrome sensor camera or whatever.
Mank is an 8K. It was shot in 8K.
8K.
And there's no color version
No.
because it's a monochrome cameras. There's
It's
no
fucking
color
great.
version out there.
And sure, like the graininess and the little fucking burn ends to the real, like,
The cigarette
the film.
burns.
it's
You
on
know what
there.
those are?
Yes, I know what cigarette burns are.
No, but
You take cigarettes.
no, those are not cigarettes.
Dude.
Those are literally they're put on there
I know.
for what?
To say that you got to change the reel,
Yeah.
buddy. But they're called cigarette. That's what the nickname for them are. They're cigarette burns.
Really?
Yes.
Cigarette is like half the size of 35 millimeter film. That is.
Oh my fuck! Do you not understand?
I'm going back to old Hollywood and be like, you guys are all fucking idiots.
I solved it, fuckers.
You dumb fucks. My name's Oz.
But yeah, I mean, for 20 to 30 fucking mil, and again, you think about fucking Fincher's like his movies, and I remember, what was it, The Dark Knight? He unleashed the fucking Phantom Cam, right? He did like an entire segment.
That
of
was Christopher Nolan.
Sorry, my bad. Okay,
Same guy.
so the camera work is heavy now, right? You have this. Netflix said, "Hey, fucker, we're just gonna do this for you." You know what I mean? And
Oh, yeah.
and I saw it in the 4K TV that we have, so it looks fucking fantastic.
shit.
It looked good. I mean, it's in black and white, but the picture is fucking clear,
Yes.
super clear. But the grittiness, again, the graininess, trying to stay true to that shit is pretty awesome.
It's very interesting the look of it, because it does. You're right. They're doing their best to make it look like an old school film,
Mm-hmm.
but it also looks like very
Really
good.
good, yeah.
Like
Fuck
it
yeah.
looks like way better than a movie from back then would
Mhm.
look. I feel.
Yeah. Oh, hell
But
yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't born in the. I
Yeah.
wasn't alive in the 30s. I don't watch many 30s fucking films.
Yeah, not at all. Not
Dude,
at all.
well, so not only did it look good, the story itself, I really fucking enjoyed it. And again, I know there's so many characters. There's so many
Oh
characters.
yes, that's one of the what you could say issues about this movie.
Yeah.
Because then I was just like, wait, who fucking died?
Right.
And it goes back and forth.
Yes.
And
I've only seen it once. Well, I've seen it 1.5. I watched half of it and then I watched it all in its entirety. And I still was just like, I feel like I need to watch this movie again just to get a hold of the characters. And there was times in this movie where people died, and I was just like, like
the guy that committed suicide?
Who was that guy? No,
That's at the end. Yeah,
yeah, spoilers.
but
Anyway, obviously David Fincher directed it. Who the hell is in this movie, Bono?
okay, so of course, right off the bat, we got motherfucking Gary Oldman playing Herman Mankiewicz. Okay, Mank.
the big dick himself,
dude,
not only
long dick, dude, long. Okay, we're talking about hefty shit, and that's why I was bringing
heavy
up.
dick.
I'm sorry, that's why I brought up Batman, because he's in fucking
All right, he is in
Batman.
A lot of connections.
Yeah,
here.
he's also Zorg. Okay, I'm gonna throw that out there. Fifth fucking element. You know?
Obviously, Gary Oldman has been in fucking so many movies, and he's been like, he is like top 3 greatest fucking actors.
He's a
of all
savage.
time.
He also played Lee Harvey Oswald in JFK.
he didn't do it.
He was fucking he was the voice of Sergeant Reznov in Call of Duty, just fucking saying, okay,
Yeah.
you're not just gonna throw a fucking voice in there. You're gonna get fucking Ullman.
Yeah,
all right?
Gary.
Yeah,
He's also
that's
Shen's voice in Kung Fu Panda.
Oh yeah,
So he's in that
the
motherfucker.
comedy
the
thing.
funniest part of that movie is at the end where they're making fun of how like somebody will be standing across town or whatever, or across the street screaming at like something badass, right? And he's like over here thinking he's giving his badass speech, but he's so far away. And then Gary Oldman's just like, what? he like looks back like, did anybody fucking understand that? And the homeboy thinks he's giving like the greatest speech. Only Gary Oldman can act that well.
Fuck
through a fucking like what? He's a duck in that.
Yeah, it's fucking great. And then
Continue.
yeah, you have also Amanda Seyfried.
Seyfried?
Seyfried, playing Marion Davies.
What what the fuck? Is she a good actress?
I don't know.
I
Again,
thought she was great in this movie, and
She's amazing.
I mean, she has done nothing before to make me think she was capable
that's-
of this.
that's
She was
where I
fucking
was-
Karen.
I was tripping. She was Karen from Mean Girls. I mean, she puts a K on backwards.
that's
she's playing
know.
a character, but
I'm
goddamn.
not saying she wasn't
You can't
fucking.
just ask people why
that
they're
she wasn't.
white.
I'm not saying she wasn't terrific in that movie. She is.
Yes.
But what she did in that movie and what she does in this movie are like, I would never
Polar
expect
opposites.
that from that
Yeah.
actress.
She's Karen. She's in
She's hot as fuck.
she's in Jennifer's Body. She's needy in that. She's Savannah and Dear John. Like all of these
pregnant
women.
girl in First
I
Reformed.
feel like she's.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She's the voice of Daphne and Scoob.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So she's
Terrible
She's
person.
had
Yeah.
she has had misfires.
Yeah.
not all winners with safe.
Very few actually.
And then yeah, you have a couple other actors here. Lily Collins. She's Rita Alexander.
What a cutie pie.
Oh
Mhm.
man.
Tom Pelphrey. He's Joe Mank, the bro.
His boy.
Yep. And then Arliss Howard, playing Louis Mayer, which is a character
He-
I fucking like. He fucking crushed in this movie.
He
Louis
is
Mayer's
the
a
guy
good
that the
character.
baby
Fire.
T-Rex eats at the end of
I was
Lost
about
World.
to say, I was about to
What
say
the fuck?
Lost World,
Didn't
Full
mean to
Metal
step on you.
Jacket,
It's like fuck MGM.
and he's also grown up Scotty in Sandlot.
There you go. All iconic
Yeah.
characters.
Led to 2020's Mank.
Oh yeah, I mean, I will always see that dude, and I was just like, first thing I think of,
Yeah.
he got eaten in
Yeah,
Jurassic
Lost
Park.
Last 100%.
Who is that? It? What else?
I mean, those are the ones that are mainly.
well, you
There's
gotta,
so many.
you
though.
gotta mention, what's his name? Charles.
There's a lot of these fucking
Dance?
people.
What's his
man.
name? Charles. Oh yeah, Charles Dance, who played William Randolph Hearst.
Okay.
Yeah, that you should at least mention him.
Mm.
And to know one of his greatest performances, he was the bad guy in Last Action Hero.
Okay.
He had that glass eye. Okay.
My bad. Sorry, guys.
So he just plays a hell of a villain in anything he's in, basically. He was also in Alien 3, David Fincher's first movie.
Mm.
He fucks Sigourney Weaver in that movie.
Did he really?
Oh, yeah. In the movie, not
Oh.
in real life.
Online.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah.
They bang probably too to practice.
so?
Yeah, come on.
Method.
True method acting right there. Just taking above and beyond.
Yeah, so obviously everybody in this movie is like on top of their fucking game. And again, the plot of this movie is basically Herman Mankiewicz, that's his name, right?
Hermie, yeah, Hermie.
Or Mank.
He gets called by Orson Welles himself, right? He is asked for to write this, or
Yeah, he gets in a car accident. Orson Welles shows up in his hospital room, says, "Yo, I need your help," which is actually what really happened in real life.
Right.
What they don't show in the movie from there,
No.
Mank and Orson Welles then go. That's when they go to the ranch alone first, and they come up with the idea, and they can't write well together. And Mank tells Orson Welles, "Fuck off," and then Orson, that's when he sends that dude John Houseman, who's the guy that we see in the movie, that is the middleman. So yeah, so that actually really happened. Orson Welles he had just done War of the Worlds, so he was
hot shit.
Yeah, exactly. But that was radio stuff. He couldn't be screen. He couldn't write for the screen. Mank was already well known for that. Dude, this guy was actually part of a group in New York City. So he was from New York City. That's where he got big. Obviously, they're all fucking write for plays and shit. And then the talkies came around, and the fucking Hollywood took everything. But there was a group called the Algonquin Round Table. They used to all meet up at a hotel in New York City, and they would meet up and have lunch every day just to talk shit to each other. It was
That's
fucking
beautiful.
crazy.
That's awesome.
It was just journalists and actors and stuff from New York City, and it all started as a joke, as somebody was like, "Oh, some journalist went out to cover World War One, and some guy was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna celebrate your return." And then he shows up, and they just make fun of him for the whole fucking time. And then the guy took it very well, and they're like, "All right, let's just keep doing this."
Right.
So that's what they would do.
Well,
That's awesome.
there's kind of a thing like that about like writers or whatever. If you're like a revered writer, you kind of refuse to admit other people's good writing or something. So all you could do is shit on.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
All you could do is talk shit, but then maybe but deep
But
down
as a
inside,
form of respect.
they know
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
know that they're good writers, but they'll never fucking tell them, and they'll just talk shit.
Yeah. It's awesome though. Yeah, it's a level
The
of respect.
rivalry. It's just like,
Yeah,
I'm better than you, but you gotta think that and whatever.
but you did what? God damn.
Yeah. But fuck you
Yeah.
for writing that.
That's awesome.
You know what Mank did?
What
What got him
Mank did?
famous? Wizard of Oz.
He wrote Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
Get the fuck
He was the
No
first.
way.
Ultimately, there was 10 writers that did it, but again, Mank didn't get credit for most of his stuff. He would do like punch up kind of things. He would just fix things. But he was the first to take the story of Wizard of Oz and convert it into a screenplay. He was the one that made the Kansas part longer, and he's the one that made it black and white.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Yeah. He
Well,
just-
well, like they say in the movie, right? When he's just like, "Oh, you wrote one of our pictures," and he's just like, "Well, I helped write it." And he's just like, "We do it together, like help spread the fucking blame." But yeah, no soul. Apparently, at least in the movies that he worked on for MGM or for whatever other studios, like just a group of people would write the movies instead of
The
one
guy,
person
yeah.
or two people. It'd be like a fucking whole group of them.
dude, and these people were making like $1,000 a week,
Yeah.
Mm.
which
These
is
Again, this is like what 1920 to
Yeah.
1935. I mean,
Yeah.
the fucking First World War had ended. We're in depression. America is at least. And then
Me too. I'm in the depression.
I mean, $1,000 a week now is
Yeah.
still not
nothing.
Yeah, it's
No.
crazy.
Peanuts. Nothing.
But yeah, and to be making that, to be writing movies about whatever
Yeah.
was just insane. I mean, that's also how one of the early scenes in there, he sends a telegram to one of his people in New York, and he said, "Dude, there is millions to be made out here, and your only competition is idiots."
Mhm.
It's just people just writing shit, like
Right.
literally coming out with a movie a week.
Right. So the structure of this movie is like we said before. There's a lot of flashbacks, and
That's
that's
this podcast. It goes back and forth.
Oh,
yeah.
Sometimes it's here, sometimes it's
Do
there.
you think we don't honor Fincher?
Yeah.
At our
It's like, what's
podcast?
Safri doing
Hey,
here?
but you
I don't
know-
know. She's here now.
He might have taken it from us. I don't know, man.
I'm gonna tell you how the movie ends really quick.
We'll get there.
Let me get there first, and then let's work back.
Which is how Citizen Kane starts. It
Amazing.
starts at the end.
Yeah, dude.
And do you think that David Fincher, in his way, was kind of like being like, I don't know, this is my like Citizen Kane in this movie?
Well, he was also honoring his dad.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna get at. I felt, I mean, just really from one thing in particular that I read, that he was more honoring his father's legacy more than anything, and I think that matters a lot. It's your fucking dad, you know.
Absolutely.
Right.
Because there's a scene. So just to again fast forward it a bit, he gets set up in the room He also gets a supply of tranquilizers.
Yeah.
because they tell him he can't drink.
Yeah.
It's kind of part of the contract, right?
Right.
Yeah, it worked out for them that they put him in this ranch that he can heal himself, but also it's a dry ranch and he's an alcoholic. So they're like, we can corner him and force him to work,
Yeah,
essentially.
He'll
But they-
probably fucking die because he needs alcohol.
Yeah,
for
so they're
sure.
like, we got to give him something.
He's
So
bedridden.
So
yeah,
they
straight up, yeah, broken leg and everything.
they hook him up with a hot stenographer and also an attractive German nurse
Mm-hmm.
and a fucking whole bottled setup of this little.
But they don't
goodness.
tell him it's they make him,
they show it to him, like kind of saying, "Hey, it's here."
yeah,
But since he has a broken fucking leg, he won't be able to get to it, right? So,
yeah,
like,
they're telling him it's booze.
yeah. But they're
But
like,
they're really tricking him. It's great. It's
yeah,
great.
they're like, write it, and then you'll get the shit.
Amazing. And it's like in a case where it has like a hidden compartment that shows just like, I don't know, like 3 fucking little layers of booze, like little bleachers, like
Yeah,
Yeah, like the little bottles you get at when you're in a hotel room, or the
Little
the
handheld.
$1 little shooters.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're a little more grown up.
A little bit
but
more, a
they're
little
like
more.
the $4 or
They-
$5
they
ones.
actually
12
look-
ounce.
yeah, they do look like they're not that small. They're
They
actually
should make them nowadays. Is what they should do.
Yeah.
well, you know.
We need to find a fucking
little
crate like that.
nightcap.
Is what we need to do. You
Oh,
get a
yeah.
badass crate like
Oh,
that, little
yeah.
doctor crate. It'd be
Let's do
fucking
it.
fire.
Let's do it. I'll get right on that. Don't worry.
But anyway, the reason why I said that, I believe that it was Fincher more trying to honor his father's screenplay, who, again, his dad was actually the one that wrote this screenplay, who has now passed away.
R.I.P. to Jack Fincher, of course.
Yeah. the first time Mank gets these bottles, there's a scene where it shows him passed out. He drops a bottle out of his hand.
Mhm.
It is literally shot for shot a scene in Citizen Kane. That's how Citizen Kane starts, with the main character. He's holding onto a snow globe, and he says Rosebud, and then he dies and drops it. And so Fincher was wondering, fuck, should I put that in? Like, because it's kind of cheesy in a way that it's like a shot
too
for
direct,
shot. Yeah,
too direct.
exactly. But he was like, no, it was in my father's screenplay. So he's like, that's what helped me in the editing room to keep that in, is that's what my dad had put in. So that's where I think a lot of this, even if it was wrong or something, I think it was like for his dad's legacy.
Mm-hmm.
He probably was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it how my dad wanted it.
And another little piece of trivia there is, after he directed the game in 1997, he's been trying to make this movie since then. And I believe after making the game, they were just like, yeah, whatever, do whatever you want. He just did 7, did the game. They were like, whatever, do whatever you want. And he's like, I want to do this movie. They were like, fuck it, do it. And he's like, I want it to be in black and white. They were like, dude, you can't make it in black and white. And he was just like, well, then I
It's
ain't
fucking
fucking doing
color,
it. Then I
man.
ain't fucking doing it. He just sat on it. He could have made it then. But he waited up until now to be able to do it the way he wanted to do it. That's crazy.
I mean,
I'm glad.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't imagine that in 97, I mean, again, you have the technology now. You kind of have endless resources.
I mean, I'm sure he could have made it, but who knows if he would have made it with Gary Oldman.
Right.
And fucking, it would have been a completely different movie.
I also saw, I mean, it would have made more money. I saw that the box office did like 99,000.
Well, this was a Netflix movie, and it
Right.
was released during a pandemic. But
Yeah.
like, if you look at other Netflix movie releases, such as The Irishman, they release it super like limited. The only real reason I believe they release it theatrically is so that they can win Oscars.
So that's what we
Yeah.
were saying, right? Because this is the end. This is what, the 4th of December. Oscars are around the corner. It got nominated for like all of them.
I don't believe the Oscar nominations are out yet.
No.
It has been nominated for things, but this movie has kind of been to the world a fucking letdown as a David Fincher movie. Like, everyone was waiting for David Fincher's next movie, the general consensus is that this was a letdown.
Yeah, I read some of the reviews on IMDb.
People
and stuff
were
like that.
pissed off that this was
Yeah.
what they got as their new David Fincher movie.
Well, it's because he has fucking Seven, Zodiac, Fight Club, The Social Network, a couple Steve Winwood videos. You know what I mean? It's some crazy shit. I mean, this guy's
classy shit.
9 Inch Nails, Madonna. He's done it all.
Yeah.
This guy.
Well, what's interesting about it is that fucking shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. What were we saying?
Let's talk about the plot a little bit. So
Yeah.
Mank here, people are like half an hour into this episode. They're like, what the fuck is this movie about?
But Mank.
But we're gonna spoil it, so you better have watched it anyway. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
whole point.
If
of
not,
this.
I hope you
You
will
done
watch it
fucked
from
up.
us talking
Yeah.
about it.
Mm-hmm.
So Mank is again asked by Orson Welles to help him write this story, and Mank basically starts writing a biography of his friend or former friend William Hearst,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's where they go back and forth.
Yeah, that's where it gets confusing.
Yeah.
Because at first you think that like he's barely going to meet him, but at the beginning of the movie, his relationship with him is already
It's over,
tarnished.
Yeah, it's already done.
It's done. Yeah.
So
So it's giving you like the perspective of like the literal last thing he did or whatever. You know, he's the fucking crazy alcoholic guy he's the bad boy of Hollywood, right? They're like, okay, let's keep this guy the fuck away from us in Victorville, California. Not really, it was shot there, but where the fuck was he supposed to be? Where was it taking place?
No, yeah, it's in Victorville.
Yeah, okay.
It
So then,
literally was shot at that ranch.
awesome.
and
So yeah, let's get him the
It's
fuck
still
out of
same,
here.
and you can rent that ranch.
tell me
Hey.
what I mean that you don't think that Mank is one of the fucking best characters that we've seen in a movie in a long fucking time. He's like, I mean, that lovable drunk character.
Well,
He-
he's also a miserable bitch,
yes, but
which I relate to because I too am a miserable bitch.
who isn't a miserable
Yeah.
bitch? If you're not a miserable bitch,
By
then fuck you.
2020, yeah, you're
But
a
he's
real
one of
piece
those
work.
dudes that like Charles Bukowski again is another great person also from LA that is relatable to this. That like, dude, what can you bitch about? You're literally making $1,000 a week. You're
Mhm.
very well respected in this arena. You can go to studios and walk around and everyone knows who the fuck you are, but yet all you do is walk around and say how everything fucking sucks.
Right.
It's kind of like, honestly, if you're like a great writer or somebody that creates great things, you're kind of just like, I'm too good for
Yeah.
this world, or everybody else is fucking
Yeah,
stupid and
seems-
doesn't understand me.
The character,
Exactly how
the
he
character is like extremely cynical, but the fact that he's fucked up all the time is kind of like, oh well, he's just fucked up. He's just talking shit because he's a drunk fucking guy.
saying clever things.
Super witty, extremely witty.
Insulting people to their faces with a smile on his face. He
Mhm.
doesn't give a fuck.
Mm-mm.
Like, it's great. It's what we all, in a sick way, aspire to fucking be, right?
Straight
I
up.
know for a fact that all three of us here in this room, like you said, this character is a Charles Bukowski type. Also, Hunter S. Thompson comes to
Yeah.
mind. It's very much in line with that, and I know we've all like been drawn and respected that man and admired him
Right.
like basically our whole lives. And this is another character that is in that vein. The fucking smart guy doesn't give a fuck, that's just gonna write beautiful fucking shit that's just like, wow, that was deep, but you're just a fucking drunk fuck up.
And who were his adversaries really? You know, you look at again Louis B. Mayer or William Randolph Hearst. Those guys were the supposedly good guys, you know. They were the ones that looked down on him for his behavior, and these guys were fucking pieces of shit.
Oh,
too.
the worst,
yeah.
the worst men ever.
Terrible.
William
human
Randolph
beings.
Hearst, like, arguably ruined the world.
He got us to war with Spain. For
Like
sure.
his decisions have shaped America in a way for the worst, in a way that people don't know.
No, and so it's quite interesting to be like, oh, this is the outcast. This is the weird This is the one that's not falling in line.
Right.
The one that's calling out all your bullshit.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because at that point
That's why we look up to this hero, right? He can be a drunk, he could be all this shit, but whatever. We all want to stand up to the fucking man. And William Randolph Hearst, I believe, is what they made the term the man.
yeah.
He's that guy.
That was pure speculation, but I don't know. I'll argue with you about that.
Let's find that out.
Dude, but he gets put in his place
Oh
hard.
yeah. Yeah.
When he was like, when he realizes, like, bitch, you talking shit about me, like, you only exist because of me.
I
You didn't even
fucking
know
paid
that.
you,
You didn't even
It's
know
brilliant.
that. So you can't dance unless the song is playing.
Exactly.
Mhm.
It's just like, dude, the only reason you're here is because I fucking find you funny.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
and that is also great to be like, I mean, I know at least me and Oz, I don't know about Bono, but we've all been the drunk guy in the room that thinks he's smarter than everybody.
Yeah. I fucking almost had to fast forward that scene the second time because it's so relatable. I was like, God damn
And you
it.
know what? That feels good because a lot of the times we will win those things, but on occasion, someone will put you in your place in something like that.
That's where I come in.
Or you just
And
throw it on the
then
floor.
when you get that feeling, even with like the fucking blanket of alcohol and whatever else you might have fucking taken, and then they still make you feel stupid, even though you think you're the smartest guy in the room. That shit fucking destroys you.
But that's where you hit
Powerful.
him. That's where you just hit him with one of the. Well, that's just like your opinion,
Yeah.
man.
But it's a coin toss.
Yeah.
It is the world's greatest coin toss of whether you will react cool to it or whether
Right.
you were gonna fucking lose your
Yeah.
shit.
and the crazy the really cool thing I liked about it too is that Mank does not give a fuck. You know, again, he's an alcoholic, he's witty, but he's also a fucking gambler. And he doesn't care,
Oh, shit.
dude.
Terrible.
He
gambler.
does not
So
fucking care, man.
well,
fucking bother.
one
me.
of those.
You will gamble about anything.
So you first meet his character as bedridden in like this really kind of pathetic light, but then you get a flashback to him like in his element. You get like this Wolf of Wall Street fucking scene, and you're being led in there by this guy who's just like, it's his first day there. He just got there.
Isn't that his brother? That's his brother, right?
That's his bro,
His
yeah.
brother's introducing this other guy
Yeah. Like,
to the group.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then the guy gets there and like he knows what he's walking into. He
Right.
thinks he's gonna get into like, oh fuck, I'm gonna go into the room of like brilliant writers. Fucking Mank is in there.
Mhm.
What a reputation. He gets in there and they are all going wild over a coin toss. They're about
Mank
to,
is getting his ass handed.
Yeah.
they're about to pitch a movie.
Yeah.
Right? This group of people is about to pitch a movie. And fucking they're going over a fucking coin toss. Not only that, they all of a sudden the most beautiful titties I've ever seen
Oh yeah.
are
there's-
there in pasties.
There are
They don't
tits.
even like focus in on it too
Mm-mm.
much. If you're not paying good attention,
Yeah.
you won't even fucking notice it.
It's an AK.
No one- No
it's
one,
an AK, okay?
no one brings attention to the fact that there is a fucking perfect 10 out of 10 rack just out there taking notes.
Yeah.
And not only
Exactly.
that, you see that chick is actually like smart and shit, right? She's
Mhm.
taking the notes. She's hearing what this guy has to say. He makes a good point. She looks at him like, hey, that was a good
Okay.
point. And then so they go through that. This guy's just tripping out, and then they're like, all right, time to go fucking pitch this movie. And then they get in there, and you just find out that they are literally,
On the spot.
they don't give a fuck
Nope.
about what they do. It is a joke to them. and they are just like playing the fucking head of that studio, right?
Yep.
And they are all improvising. They all pass the ball to each other, pitching this movie. And I fucking love that fucking scene.
It's good.
Because then at the very end, right, everybody goes through their bits. And at the end, they tell the fucking new guy who's literally been there for like
the fucking
20 minutes or so,
the
he hasn't even processed what he just saw.
He hasn't even
saw,
clocked in or anything.
He saw a coin toss bet and some titties. And now he's in this room watching these guys pitch a movie. And then fucking Mank looks at him and he's like, tell him about the finale. And the guy's just like, ah.
But it's brilliant too, because even right before they leave the room, they already know that each one of them has something to say. So they're like, hey, wait for your cue. We're gonna cue you in. Don't worry about it. And he's just like, what the fuck? Again, put yourself in that position with some brilliant motherfuckers. And they're like, hey, give us the finale, you fucking new guy.
Yeah.
And it goes to him, and like the shot, it shows everyone like looking at this dude like finish this fucking movie.
Yeah, well, he like finishes, right?
Yeah.
And then you see Mank kind of give him a look like that wasn't good enough. So he adds to it, and he's like, and at the end, he's like, you see a priest weeping. And then Mank just looks at the head of the studio. The fucking look that he gives the head of the studio is like, huh? Like, it's so fucking good. Like, I was just like, dude, Gary Oldman, give him the Oscar now. Give him the Oscar
What do you think,
now.
huh? What do you think?
Yeah, he was just, not only was he surprised that guy was able to come up with like a good fucking ending,
Right.
like he also gives them the look like, well, that wasn't
Yeah.
bad. It was.
This is my team over here.
Hey, but I also love that was also I don't know how real that was, but it was a cool way to, dude, that's how you'd make your name for yourself.
Loose as hell.
You know,
Just fuck it.
if you can't come up with something, fuck it, you're gone.
Yeah.
Next guy's coming in tomorrow.
Yep.
But if you can come up with something right now, guess what? You're
Yeah.
part of the crew.
On the fucking spot.
And
like,
it's-
Jesus.
It's great too, because then they're like, okay, it focuses on religion and all this shit, like really feeding it, when they just came up with it right there on the
Well, they're
spot.
basically, again,
fucking
I don't
great.
know about the research. Maybe we should look this up. They're basically pitching Frankenstein.
yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Frankenstein was already a movie at that point in time.
Well, they were talking about it, right? They're like, oh, well, Universal take care of all the monster movies, right? They're like, oh, it sounds like a monster movie. It's like, yeah, Universal's got that
It's
on
like,
lock.
he's like, what's the difference? Like, this one means,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
we're trying to say something.
Right.
And
The
so they
message,
go through,
yeah.
so they go through their whole fucking thing, and they're like, okay, but what are you trying to say? And then that's when they tell that guy, like, yeah, like, what are you? And it's like, oh, fuck.
It's awesome.
And then the guy gives his pitch, right? And then the executives eat it up, and they're like, it's this. And then Mank's just like,
Mhm.
that's director proof, baby.
Yeah. Doesn't matter who you throw on that bitch.
Like, it doesn't matter. The story's so goddamn good.
Mhm.
Fucking amazing fucking scene. I loved it.
And it's cool too, because the flashbacks come in like a screenplay style where you get like the typewriter, it goes off, it gives you a date.
so it makes it kind of easy to keep track.
I mean, I still lost where the fuck I was at, but I enjoyed that part because it's giving you like the understanding of him. You're learning this character and seeing how he progresses or downfalls as the movie proceeds.
Well, right after that, so Charlie's the guy that just got introduced into it, right? So then at the end, Charlie's just like, oh, like, I'm going off to like my sister's for like the weekend. If you want to come, Mank. And he's just like, I might just take you up on that.
Right.
And then he shows up.
Fucking
He
plastered.
shows up. He says like, yeah, I'll be at 7 a.m. He shows up at 7 a.m. Go on. Someone drops him off. He's just like climbs out of the fucking car all drunk. And then the guy's there. And then he has like the cart for the wheel, for his luggage. And he just like gives a bow and just like
Flops
on
flops
something.
on.
And all the people are trying to get an autograph from the actress in the car, and they're like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" They're like trying to walk around him and shit, and he
Yeah.
just plops onto that thing.
So goddamn good. And then he wakes up in a strange bed. He's like basically awoken by like a scream, right? Here's the fucking
Yeah.
scream.
Oh yeah.
And he doesn't know where he is.
No.
He doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
Mhm.
And he just wanders into the production of a fucking
He's just
movie.
following the yelling.
Yeah.
Well, first the like the housekeeping staff is looking at him like, this motherfucker
Yeah.
finally woke up, and he's just like, "Oh fuck, what did I do?" And just sneaks by them all fast,
Mhm.
just trying to find the
What
the source
movie
of
were
his-
they shooting? The other where the horse?
have no
That'd be
idea.
interesting too. I mean, was he part of that as well? Was he on set? That type of shit. You know what I mean?
Right. No idea.
No clue.
But that's where you get introduced to the character of L.B. Mayer, played by Arliss Howard.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also get introduced to the character of Marion Davis, played by Amanda Seyfried. And even at the end of the scene, you meet William Randolph Hearst for the first time.
Well, this is a very pivotal scene because
Oh, yeah.
that's when Seyfried's character, or when Marion Davies introduces Mank to Hearst,
Mhm.
and that again sets off his whole
Right.
career.
It also gives Mank like the modest, humbled approach. Even though he's that cynical and everything too. When he's on set, they're like, "Hey, you're the fucking guy from the East Coast," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm whatever." What does he say? He says like, I'm that guy turned humble screenwriter or whatever." And they're just kind of like, "Oh, okay, then yeah, mad respect, you know." But it gives you another layer of him that you might have just dismissed from the get go because he's just a give a fuck drunk.
Yeah.
But it's also like adds to his you know, the fucking credibility. You're like, okay, well, this dude's real. He's collected. He knows what the fuck he's
Yeah.
talking about.
Well, that's what's interesting about it, right? 'Cause he's always drunk, and sometimes he could be like a nice, respectable drunk, and then other times he'll just be a piece of shit. But yeah, anyway, at the end of that scene, he meets William Randolph Hearst. He kind of has a little interaction with him. William Randolph Hearst goes on his way, and they basically tell him, like, hey, like, he liked you, you know, and that's kind of like where that little flashback
Yeah, he's like,
ends.
sit him to my left.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many times they shot that scene?
Over 100.
Over 200.
Jesus.
It took 8 days
What?
to shoot that one scene.
Well, Fincher
That was the longest scene.
is such a perfectionist that sometimes even their performance doesn't matter. It's like it's just the way something is on set. He's trying to capture it like perfectly.
Yeah, and that's how he says it. Well, it makes sense, dude.
The
Like,
fucking dust.
Yes,
Well,
it could be that.
Christ.
fucking-
Oh my
dude,
God.
or you could show up on a Wednesday and you didn't sleep very good the
Dude.
night before, and you got in a fight with your boyfriend, or some fucking shit happened, and you just don't really want to be there.
Right.
So he's just like, fuck you. You're going to do it 100 times, and one of those times is going to be the way I want it in my head.
I'm thinking about those guys on the horseback, bro. Like, Jesus Christ, they fucking rode from like quarter mile out. Like,
Well, there's
you're shooting that
the
100
eight-
times.
there's a great
Your balls are gonna
200.
explode.
There's
Jesus
a great
Christ.
there's a great story about how he like broke Jake Gyllenhaal during Zodiac. Like
Yeah.
like Gyllenhaal was like he fucking Fincher basically recently came out. He's like, look, Gyllenhaal came into this movie thinking he was the shit because he had just gotten like good reviews for Jarhead. People started calling him a good actor. He came into my fuck set thinking he was good. It's like I basically fucking just
Humbled
broke
him.
that son of a bitch
Humbled
apart.
his
It's like and arguably made him good. Whatever. Jarhead was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
But when it comes to Zodiac, that's when I was like, oh fuck, Jake Gyllenhaal is a bad motherfucker. And that was just because David fucking Fincher took him to the fucking edge. And they might never work again. He's probably Jake Gyllenhaal's like, fuck David Fincher, I'll fucking kill him if I ever see him
Fuck
again.
him.
Well,
But he
and-
like made him a good
Wow.
fucking actor.
in one of the one of the first scenes that with Mank and his wife at a party in Hearst Castle, they shot that scene 100 times. And on the 100th time, Gary Oldman was like, "Motherfucker, you made me shoot this 100 times already." And David Fincher was like, "Yeah, but this is number 101. So reset, go."
Back to A. Here we go. Let's go. Oh
You
my
married
God.
my wife.
Son of a bitch. I'm gonna keep
But
this
I
going.
like that though, because I mean, if I was the actor, I'd be like, "Bitch, you're gonna have to go through all this in the editing room and find the good one. Go for it. Go for all 100 takes of mine."
It's like the music approach too, you know, motherfuckers go take after take after take. By the time you're done with the fucking track, you're tired of the song, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there was less feedback in this one, add that shit. Oh man.
My
Yeah,
boy
let the
Fincher
producer-
is like such a genius that like Brad Pitt and like David Soderbergh talk about watching movies with him. And they're like, you can't watch a movie with him without him saying all the things that are wrong with the with the fucking scene that he's
Shut
watching.
the fuck
Oh my
up.
He's just like, no, you know what? Like they should have done this, or that's just what
You
I
know
would have done.
I want to watch a David Fincher movie with him and be like, "Oh, he should have did this. Oh, that should have happened. Oh, this," and see how he likes
You
it.
kind of
He'll
can't.
kill you.
You kind of can't.
You're like,
kinda
"How you
can't.
like it? How you like it?"
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, like, I don't know. Him and and Christopher Nolan right now are like they're the ones, man. They're the ones that are making. I mean, I'm excluding Martin Scorsese, who is still making movies, and they're still great, and he's probably the greatest director of all fucking time. Tarantino's in there as well, obviously. But I think, I mean, for me at least personally, it is between fucking Fincher and Nolan that are just like doing the God's work right now. And I mean, I don't know. I fucking love Christopher Nolan, but I think David Fincher is the best. I think he's the greatest. And in a way, I feel like I don't know if this is what he was trying to say or not. Like you said, it wasn't. But in a way, I feel like he's saying, like, I don't know, I'm a better director than Orson Welles, and like, fuck Citizen Kane, like whatever. Like he really fucking shits. This movie's a fucking fuck you to Orson Welles in a way, is it not?
Maybe. Again, I was talking to Oz earlier before you showed up today, and I was telling him, like, not only we don't know the exact story of all of this, and,
Right.
and some of it might not be true, some of it might be extra flair, but the fact that it's all practical, dialogue is fucking heavy and intriguing too, like, again, witty, great fucking dialogue during the set times. And one of the scenes, I mean, they're talking about the Nazis and they're talking about, you know, government, and it's fucking crazy because the political game during that time must have been intense. Like, as far as your liberties to do whatever the fuck you want. Sure, it's enjoyable to watch these guys come up with a fucking movie, right? In the middle of fucking nothing. But at the end of the day, like, it's kind of showing that Hollywood and these, you know, studios are deep in the politic game, controlling a lot of the movement, especially in California. And they were just fucking going deep, and it's like, holy fuck, was this guy that deep into the game like that, or was he just kind of there dealing with the bullshit while maybe Wells was stroking the cock? You know what I mean? In the middle of all of that.
I just saw this because along those lines, because also what's going on is the governor's race in California, and Upton Sinclair, who's an author but also a socialist, is up for election, and obviously all the business people, you know, Mayor and Hearst.
And that's one of the gambling, one of the bets comes into play.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they covered his bets, and he's like, double or nothing. Like, you're trying to take double or nothing on a bet you don't know?
Like, all right, fine, 24 grand.
But do you know who played that guy? You know who played Upton Sinclair? Bill Nye.
The science
Yeah.
No
Bill,
shit.
Bill. Yeah, I've just seen it right
Well,
here.
he looked familiar. He looked familiar.
I feel like I learned.
Oh, shit. Well, he
I
was,
was like,
you know.
why am I thinking about
convinced a lot
tectonic
of
plates
people.
right now, dude?
Yeah, dude. Tell me about refraction.
Just because I
please.
believe in science. Oh no.
That's also another reason why I think this might not resonate a lot with people. Is it's again kind of like Chinatown, which is very famous, but it's very heavily in not just national politics but California politics. And I mean, come on, not a lot of people know that stuff.
No.
You know, they know Ronald Reagan or some shit, you know, but or Schwarzenegger, you know, but yeah, not a lot of people know 1920s or 1930s California,
including me
politics.
and Bono.
I had to look up like Upton
At
Sinclair.
all.
Isn't that writer? And apparently, yeah, he was a socialist and all that. But also, I'd like that they, well, especially Mank, he fights it like, dude, socialism and communism is a completely different fucking thing.
Yeah.
I felt that was directed at modern audiences
Mhm.
who still, again, use socialism as a way to just
Yeah.
negate somebody's
Mhm.
argument, you know, like, oh, that's socialist because it's associated with communism, which used to be our enemy, and it's completely
Well, there's a lot of fucking different things too, right? At the time, that's the media, right? That's where you're getting information. Of course, a bunch of studios are doing propaganda films, much like the Germans. Again,
that guy ends up fucking 86 in himself because of it.
and that's what I'm saying. It's like these motherfuckers are that involved.
Shelley
And,
Metcalf.
That shit. Spoilers on that one. Again, we
he,
mentioned
he had
that
a whole
fucking
box
dude.
of he has a whole box of
Fucking-
bullets.
Yeah,
Fuck, that was a good.
it was a good scene. Though.
This movie's fucking good.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
full of just good scene after
There
good
are fucking
scene.
levels
I
to
feel
the
It's
game.
heavy. It's
It is
dense.
heavy.
It's
I feel.
dense,
I
you
feel
know?
like I can understand why your regular movie viewer would not like this movie. Number one of the reasons why you would like this movie is you're a diehard Fincher fan.
Mm.
And if not that, then you're a diehard Citizen Kane fan. And if not that, you're like just a lover of old Hollywood
Or Gary Oldman.
or Gary Oldman. But
I'm
other
the
than
old
that,
Hollywood
I
type.
don't see how this movie really has a mass appeal. And it really is not an easy movie to watch.
Right.
You gotta be fucking
It's a
paying
great
it.
pair of tits.
And-
You gotta pay. You gotta pay. Yeah.
You're a fan of tits. You're gonna watch this movie.
Yeah.
It's like 20 seconds at most.
They're worth it. Those 20 seconds will makes up for those 2 hours.
I mean, yeah.
Perky
Yeah,
as
but
fuck.
yeah, it's not an easy movie to watch, and I feel like I can easily see a regular person just giving up on this movie like fast.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, there's too many people.
Look,
It's moving too
and
fast.
honestly, I could kind of speak to that too, because I mean, I like movies, but Electra's a crazy diehard. You know, I mean, Oz, you like movies, but again, there's levels to the fucking game. However,
Yippee-ki-yay.
I felt like I had to respect the movie because I was watching it at home, obviously fucking Netflix. But every time I had to do some shit, I would pause it and say like,
Right.
I'm not gonna let it play as background noise. I will give it the attention it deserves because clearly this motherfucker took some time to like set all. If you're telling me this guy's taking 100 takes per scene,
Yeah.
Minimum.
I need to
that's a small
fucking
one.
watch this shit. Yeah, for the 20-second scene there. Yeah, thanks, bro. I'll enjoy the fuck out of that scene.
Well, you're like Ozzy was saying, there's like a scene that Amanda Seyfried did over 200 times, and it took like a week to
oh
shoot,
my god.
and she didn't even have a line in the scene.
Oh my god.
And that took a week of her life. Not only her life, all the fucking crew's life.
You know what?
Watching her do that for like a week.
Imagine being like Wardrobe or any one of those guys be like, hey, you know what? I'm getting paid. I'm
Oh, yeah,
going
that's
home.
what they- Well, again, yeah, and again, Seyfried, when she brought that up in interviews, she was
me the
completely
grip.
fine with it. She
Yeah,
was
well-
like, I knew what he was doing. Like,
Well, the thing is like, all right, Gary Oldman has worked with the greatest of the great, and he is one of the greats. So he can probably be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
I'm Gary Oldman. I'm giving you a good performance. All those 100 takes
I'd be like,
are
shut the
good.
fuck up,
Yeah.
old man.
All those
Oh,
100
man.
takes are good. Amanda Seyfried's like, I'm a mean girl.
Yeah.
I will do whatever the fuck David
Yeah,
Fincher
yeah.
tells me.
I will
Was it
stroke
like
it.
Miserable?
I will stroke it. I love you.
No, I mean you gotta know. She's gotta know her place. She's got to know that she is
Oh.
working for one of the greatest.
And she has, she has one of the most legit scenes where they're like in some fucking, I don't know, badass fucking living room around the fire. They're just having open dialogue.
Oh, that's where the Hitler talk comes in.
Yeah,
right?
and that's where, which I found out because of Oz here.
Which is awesome because it does come into that conversation comes into a way that we get into conversations. Like, who's seen a good movie lately? That's how that fucking conversation starts.
right.
Who's seen
Who
something
asked
good?
that question?
What? Wait, are you quizzing me?
So look, that's the
Yeah.
brilliant part of this fucking scene too, because we were
Yeah.
talking a little bit
It was
about
the man on the piano. Who was he playing?
Fuck, man. What are you?
That's Charlie Chaplin.
It's
Okay.
Charlie fucking Chaplin.
Yeah, dude.
It's like, why? But it's also like, again, they're talking and then he's playing music to kind of fill in the gaps of the conversation
Yeah.
and or add
Make it
to
dramatic.
Exactly.
Dude, and that's Charlie Chaplin. That's one of the most famous comedian, probably the most famous comedian at that time, and still to this day.
The most famous.
And he's just there.
the most
Mhm.
famous silent actor of all fucking time.
Mhm.
And he also looked like Hitler.
Well, he
So,
makes fun of the
He
mustache.
makes some, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And
You knew that was Charlie Chapman?
well, I was telling Oz, I'm like, dude, that dude, he filled in everything perfectly with the piano. And we were talking about Nazi Germany because they're talking about it openly, again, in open discussion, but they're not saying like, hey, these Nazis are like gonna ruin the fucking world. They're saying
Yeah.
like, hey, bro, like this guy has political power. Like that's a huge market. They literally say that.
And then
Yeah.
LB is over there saying, like, dude, this guy is a fucking joke. Don't even fucking take
Yeah, no
him
one's gonna take him
seriously.
serious. Exactly.
Just like Captain Sinclair, Adolf Hitler, another guy you shouldn't take
Shut
seriously.
So-
the fuck up.
so-
Why are we even talking about this motherfucker?
So it's like that's a fucking haymaker of a fucking punch at Hollywood, saying like, hey, you guys are kind of like revered that this guy had. They even drop a number. They're like, hey, this guy has this amount of million Germans down for him. Like he was just the guy who said, hey, I'm down. I'm gonna make this happen for us. And he has a country behind him. He's like, we can't even get California to fucking back us here. You know what I mean?
Well, and then I love because Mayer, again, they like kind of focus in on Louis Mayer, and he's like, what's a concentration camp?
Right.
Ooh.
And
Right.
again, it's
I was
so
like, dude.
good in that, like, again, they don't have their side, but they're definitely not anti-Nazi.
Yeah,
But
they're,
they're more
ignorant to what's
intrigued.
happening, though.
Yeah. But, and again, and yeah, so, and I'm assuming Louis B. Mayer was Jewish because of the last name. But it's so interesting that he, again, wasn't necessarily supporting them, but wasn't saying, oh, they're bad people. And then he was obviously very ignorant as to what was going on. And so, well, what is this concentration
I don't-
camp?
they
It's like,
mentioned
dude, he's trying to kill
concentra-
your people.
Yeah, they mention concentration camps and they go on for a while, and then after they make their point, he's like, "What's a concentration camp?"
Right.
He does like the point about the concentration camp was made, but this dude didn't even know what the fuck
No.
it was.
And this is somebody that is connected,
Yeah.
that is connected to one of the most powerful journalists in the world at this point, and even
Right.
they don't know.
Right.
This is a great movie.
It's fucking, there's so many layers. There's fucking layers, man. And even back to the homegirl getting fucking put in her place. She's just kind of like, making fun or making light. She's like, hey,
she's speaking truth,
oh, that too.
and
But
then
that's
everyone's
the,
just
that's
like,
the
"Shut
jab.
the fuck up."
That's the
right?
jab where they don't even have to say shit. Where she's like,
well, she just looks at Willie,
mm,
and he gives her that like "shut the fuck up"
Well,
look.
because there's a guy there that's representing Franklin
yeah,
Delano Roosevelt.
exactly. Yeah, he's part of the.
And they're all
Fucking
trying to say,
cabinet.
what can we do about this Hitler dude? And Amanda Seyfried's character is like, well, I just saw
Marion.
Marion over here. She's like, I just saw Willie picking cabinet members like he was casting a film.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
I'm sure we can get them to do
And
something.
she, oh, bro, it's
and that's when
fucking-
everybody was like, yo,
She knows it.
too much, too much.
She excuses herself.
Yeah,
bro.
no,
That's
she-
so
she's
fucking.
she's so
Well,
she's smart.
She looks at him. he gives her that fucking Last Action Hero villain look. And then she's just like, I'm out of here.
Fuck this.
I fucked up. And I apologize and I will leave.
I'm not.
I'm gonna go find my secret booze stash.
Will the biggest drunk in the room please follow me out?
I'll be outside. Thank you.
And his wife tells him to go.
Go.
Yeah.
Poor
And he's just
Sarah.
like, dude, I need to go fucking
And she wants the D, Holmes. And she's
Mhm.
poor Sarah's like, go, homie.
go give it to her.
She's so cool.
Lovely lady.
What a great woman poor Sarah
The
was.
female characters in this movie are interesting to say the least. There's 3 main ones.
Dude, most of them are real.
Yeah, and it's just like they all have an allegiance to this character,
Mhm.
even though he's technically not a good guy. Like,
But then, given the times too, I mean, you gotta consider that shit too. We're talking about late 30s. You know what I mean?
Again, in contrast it to Hearst and Mayer.
he's a great guy compared to
Yeah, like he's just a drunk, you know?
Yeah.
He's just a drunk with a
fucking
talent.
poet. That's all he is.
These guys just take advantage of this talent for their own personal gain.
Oh, for sure.
And that's also one of my favorite scenes. When again the new, what was the new guy's name that showed up?
Charlie.
When Charlie shows up,
I think it's Charlie.
I know it's actually his brother Joe.
It's
when
Joe.
he introduces
He's
him
with Joe, yeah.
he introduces him to Louis Mayer. When Louis goes to do the speech to cut the salaries 50%, and
Oh,
Louis,
such a good
Yeah.
scene.
it's so amazing because everyone's talking to him. He's just in his own head talking about how great he is and the family that he's
Dude.
created. And
He says, I won't break up this family over a thing like money.
Yeah,
Dude.
it's
well,
powerful.
and you know, so the
And then Mank at the end of that scene, one of the greatest lines, he's like, not even the most disgraceful thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, dude.
well, and going back to the levels and layers and all this shit, and I haven't found anybody else that has said this, so this is a fucking movie power hour exclusive.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So when he's doing that speech, of course, the grips and the not the actors, the lower paid people are like, dude, that's a lot of fucking money. Like
He's asking for half of their money
half of their money.
for several weeks and promises that when this thing is over, that they will get paid back.
Right.
Right?
Which, spoiler alert, they don't.
They don't.
Well,
At all.
you gotta spoil it for the fucking people.
Well, they should. They should
Well,
know.
so one actor gets up and says, "I support you. I got your back."
A woman.
Which who the
No,
fuck
no,
is that?
It starts with a man. Yeah, it starts with,
Outrage.
it's a first.
Blasphemy! I did not see a man.
At first, it's a man,
A womanly man, probably.
and
Gray
but
hair.
that person is what I believe, again, because I haven't seen anybody else. This is my own research. I believe that person that defends him is a person named Lionel Barrymore, who is Drew Barrymore's grandpa's brother.
I do not support this.
Again,
The
layers.
Barrymore name will not be tarnished here at this fucking
They
podcast.
were part of it.
Yeah.
This is not an Electro Mono exclusive.
So
this is heresy.
the grip that says that, again, he says that, and the grip was like, well, you can afford that, Mr. Barrymore, but we can't.
Ooh.
So I did research because Drew Barrymore comes from a Hollywood family. Like the
Absolutely.
Barrymores have been actors
Absolutely.
since the 19th century.
Of course.
So at this time in Hollywood history, there was 2 brothers that were famous actors. One of them, who was Drew Barrymore, became Drew Barrymore's grandpa, and his brother, who worked at MGM for most of his career
Savage.
and was this big burly
Savage.
character, who is again a big person. The person that stood up is this big burly character. But anyway, let's take a quick break and we'll wrap this up after this. Get back on Mank, baby. Woo!
We have returned from our break.
And I was right.
You were.
Thank you.
You rarely
That's
are,
all-
but you were
that's
at
all-
that
that's all
point.
the break was.
But whatever.
for.
Let's
I
not
was
make a
right.
big deal about it.
Mm.
Barrymore's.
Let's not make a big deal
You
about
guys owe me shit.
it. No.
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 Anyways, so a big important plot line in the in the movie, and something that again I feel like at least me and Ozzy, as people that write drunk as fuck, can relate to, is that, like, again, like we mentioned, Mank was put in a dry house and was promised alcohol at the fucking finish line. Well, guess what? Mank worked his way to that box. He took a drink. He fucking passed out. They're like, yeah, that wasn't alcohol. We like basically drugged him. It was like a horse tranquilizer or something, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Rhino train.
Rhinos. Shit.
Yeah, so
I looked it
homeboy
up.
Hot
Yeah,
in
it's
these
some serious
rhinos.
shit.
some serious shit.
Some serious shit, dude.
And then basically, one of the homeboys that was looking over him, he was just like, "I'm disappointed that you drank this without even finishing your first act. You were 90 pages in to writing this story. You gave up on your sobriety, which you promised that you were going to remain sober while writing this movie. You gave up on that quick. But not only that, okay. So he had 60 days to write this screenplay, correct?
Or 90, depending
60
on
or
who.
90. But basically, his time was about up. He wrote 90 pages to which people were like, this is great.
Right.
But you have only written the first fucking act of a fucking movie. And so he makes a decision, and then he fucking has a delivery, and it's also a really is that the scene where the lady gets the letter from the war, or is that earlier?
That was earlier.
Okay, never mind. The letter gets the lady from the war.
That was one of the first times.
Yeah.
I assume it almost seems like a suicide attempt, because the first time I didn't realize he didn't know that wasn't booze, because he's like always the funniest guy in the room. Because she gets a letter and he's like, oh,
No,
what is that?
The smartest guy.
smartest-
The
Oh,
smartest guy.
So she's reading the letter, and he basically like makes fun of what could be. He's like, oh, you're like, your husband is probably
Aircraft
Yeah.
carriers are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the introduction to her. That's
Yeah.
when he was there and meeting everyone and understanding that these deadlines have to be met. So he was going to be catered to by this female who apparently had a husband out on a fucking air carrier in fucking wherever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
And he says something, oh, well, my sympathy to you and your fucking husband. And she's like, look, I don't need your sympathy, and we'll fight the war for you. You know what I mean? Like, so shut the fuck up.
bitch.
Which is pretty cool because that character comes off as really strong and like, okay, she's a tough bitch. She's about it. But then she gets this letter that apparently like her husband or the entire fucking crew have gone missing in the water.
Yeah. I'm a suspected dead, but whatever. Could be, but yeah, so he feels like an asshole, and he basically does say, he's just like, yeah, like, I'm always the smartest guy in the room,
Just smart ass. Just a fucking can't help himself.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it has nothing to do with this scene we were talking about.
No.
Anyway, so you're right. So the guy comes in from the studio checking on his progress
As he's getting a delivery.
as he's getting a delivery. He wakes up from like a bender of him drinking tranquilizers, and they're like, this guy, this head of the studio or whatever is here to see you, and also you've got this delivery. And he's like, well, whatever, send them both. And then he handles it like really awesomely. It's a great fucking scene. This guy comes in, tells them, what the fuck, you're like so far behind. And he's like, whatever, like step into the next room, whatever. And then they come in, they deliver the fucking alcohol. He basically
He's
tells
like,
them,
is this okay? He's like, I think there's enough space there. Just go ahead and put this giant crate of booze next to
Yeah.
the fireplace, please.
yeah. And then so Lily Collins, this character, Rita, is just like, dude, I will not help you fucking be a drunk or whatever. And then basically he's just like, look, like, I can't fucking write without alcohol. Like, if you want me to finish this shit, I've only got like whatever, 12 days, 13 days. So if you want me to finish, I need to get fucked up because that's when I do my best work.
Mm.
So it's impossible for him to finish the job without alcohol.
So me hitting on girls.
Yep. Yep. I've seen it. I've seen it. And that also is that scene where it is revealed that Mank has helped a lot of Germans escape or whatever, which is only like a half truth, but whatever. But that's what convinces Lily Collins to continue helping him.
To stay and help.
And this is a good line where the German girl's like saying like he's a grown man, a good man, and should be treated as such. And then she explains to him what he did. And then she takes him his first glass of alcohol, serves herself one, and she's just like, bottoms up, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Let's write Citizen Kane.
Well, she says to Mankville or whatever. That's where she said. And then that's where he's like, how do you say blabbermouth in German?
Mm-hmm. And then you find out that in the next scene that Mayer never paid back the money that he promised to the people
family, the
people that
MGM
worked at
family.
MGM. And so Mank shows up at the studio one day, and somebody who he knew, I don't know if he was like a writer or something,
Right.
was like begging for money. And then he was like, well, like, what happened? You know? And then he's just like, can I have $1? And he asked the security guard. So, Ed, lend me $1. He gives him the $1 and he just hands it over to him. Great fucking, great scene. That's where you find out that the mayor is obviously a real fucking piece of garbage. And then that's where fucking, obviously, Mank is just like, all right, this is like, I'm working for awful men. And then so Mank finishes his screenplay and it is over 300 pages long. They're just like, whoa, this is like way too goddamn long.
But it's good.
And yeah, they're like, it's very good, but it's way too goddamn long. He's like, well, whatever. Give it to Orson Welles and tell him to pick the parts that he fucking likes. And then he's just like, man, like, I guess it was in the contract, and right here he also reiterates how he does not want a writing credit for his screenplay. It's like, whatever, give it to him, tell him to do whatever the fuck he wants with it.
Is that a fucking power play? Like, how savage do you have to be? Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, are you just that drunk, or you expect the motherfucker who's doing it to feel some fucking heavy guilt and be like, I have to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not that guy. I'm a phony type shit in a world of fucking phonies and give a fuck dudes. You know what I mean? Dog eat dog motherfuckers.
I think he just thought, like, next year I'm going to come up with another thing like this, and the next year as well. But then
Just
everybody
has it
started
like that.
telling him, like, bro, this is the best shit you've ever done.
But
like, you can't.
But
just
not
give
before
this
telling
away.
him like, you are starting a fucking war.
Well, because it's so obvious that it's about William Randolph Hearst,
Right.
who is one of the most powerful
Yeah.
journalists or those type of people. Basically, there's no way you're going to win.
Yeah.
Even
there's-
if you're right.
Yeah, they're just like, dude, you're burning a bridge that you can, like, the ultimate bridge to burn.
Yeah.
You are burning it.
His brother tells him that too. He's just
His
like
brother tries to get him out of it.
Mm-hmm.
He
So
tries to offer him a
three-
deal on another movie.
3 people try to get him out of it.
Yeah.
Several people come to him. They're
Even
like,
poor Sarah.
try to get him out of it. But when his brother tells him, I love that fucking part, because he's just like, I read your script, but you do not want to pick a fight with good old Willie. Or whatever. And he's just trying to talk him out of it, like being mean. And then he's like walking away, and then Mank tells him, "It's like, I'm washed up, Joe. I have been for years." And his brother just looks back at him and he's just like, "It's the best thing you've ever written, man. You're not washed up. You might think you're a piece of shit and you're treating yourself like a piece of shit, but that's the best thing you've ever fucking done in your life." And that scene almost brings tears to my fucking eyes. And I don't know, man. And then that's when fucking Manx just realizes that he does want credit, that this is his legacy. This is the greatest thing that he's ever fucking accomplished. And even though he agreed to not get credit for it because of some director and actor's hubris, that he's just like, fuck that. Like, I need my name attached to this. And I mean, I don't know. That's as great as it gets right there. And I don't know, an artist fucking taking pride in his work or something.
Well, and that's what sets up the whole drama to this day of how much he was actually involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's that scene where then Orson Welles says, dude, don't put your name on it, and we'll give you a $10,000 fucking bonus.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no dice.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things where I saw that Orson Welles claims that never happened.
Mm.
He's
Right.
like, bullshit, we never offered him no 10 grand or whatever.
Well, that's the thing, right? You don't know
Who's telling truth? What's the real story?
because, like I've said before, no, I mean, Mank is not remembered. Now, maybe now he will be remembered as the guy that wrote Citizen Kane. Before that, it's just
I didn't even know this guy existed, honestly.
no, absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
And even though I've never watched Citizen Kane in my life before, I have heard for many fucking years that it is the greatest movie ever made. And that
It's going to suck when we watch it. We're going to be like, what?
no, it's
Let's watch
not.
Mank.
The Rock is. The Rock is.
Oh my God.
Nick Cage, come on.
Welcome to Citizen Kane.
Exactly. Imagine Sean Connery in this movie.
R.I.P.
Adventure would have done it better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what were we saying?
I mean, but what do you think? And I know this is a little bit off topic, but is this a movie that is only going to be for like film buffs type people? Or can somebody just off the street? Is it entertaining for the regular Joe, quote unquote? Is that as dumb as that sounds?
It depends on when you consider the regular Joe. I think basically anybody, not anybody, the majority of people under like 25 will probably not have an interest in this movie.
How many
the
screens
majority.
would that shit have had at Maya? Not three?
No, it would be one of those movies.
1 week
Yeah, it would be one of those movies
showing at 10.
that
Yeah.
The
yeah,
last fucking
exactly.
show.
It'd be one of those
Gotta go to
movies.
OCO or some
Yeah.
shit.
No, yeah, it'd be one of those movies because the Maya was actually really good at playing independent movies, but they would show them like month or two after you heard about them, and yeah, there was like 2 showings,
yeah.
and
8
yeah,
and
one of
10.
them was at 10:30.
Literally the last
Yeah,
showing.
like 10:30 or like at fucking noon, the most impossible fucking time.
Let's put him at the
Man.
furthest auditorium, all right? Make you
Yeah.
walk to watch this movie. Go, fuck you, man.
So
God
yeah,
damn it.
yeah. This would be definitely that independent movie that would be difficult to watch. And if you are watching it, you are somebody that knows what the movie is and are kind of going out of your way to watch it.
Mhm.
And yeah, they're like, even if they weren't playing it at the Maya, you saw they're playing it in Monterey at the Ocio. You're like, all right, I guess I'm going to Monterey to watch this shit.
Scary old man.
Or not even that. Yeah, or even you could be like, fuck, I gotta go all the way to fucking San Jose to watch this fucking shit.
right.
Like, that's how invested you have to be in wanting to see the movie in the theater.
It's more entertaining. I mean, I agree with you. I'm not saying I don't agree with you.
That's
But I just think it's so
that's the
good.
thing too. Is like, you know, you consider yourself a certain type, but then yeah, there's these other motherfuckers. Like, for example, my younger brother. I know for a fact he's not gonna watch this shit. In fact, he will tune out so fast. It's just almost like one of those things where it's just at this point just becomes content on a fucking streaming service. You know what I mean?
You basically,
It's just there. You know, it's not gonna. It'll be there for a long time, and then who knows how many people.
I mean,
fucking
the only
watch
way
this
I
shit.
think you could get somebody like that to watch this movie would be like, look, watch Seven,
Okay.
and then watch like Fight Club.
Mm.
And
be
then
like-
be like, okay, that guy made this movie. And it's not that same kind of movie, but you love those movies, right? They're
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So now watch this.
Yeah. Lieutenant
It's
Gordon.
kinda the only fucking
Gordon
way.
is in the Zorg. He's in this motherfucker.
Remember Zork, you
I'll
piece
be
of
like,
shit.
I'm not gonna tell
I'm
you
gonna step
when.
down to Corbin Dallas.
I can
Ruby Rod?
if it's early or late or what, but there's the greatest pair of boobs.
You're gonna see. You're gonna see him in the first act.
If you see a great pair of boobs, keep watching because you might see a better one.
Yeah. It's gotta
You
make
probably
sure
won't.
But
The
you
promise of
might. So
boobs.
keep watching. Pay attention because that matters to the boobs.
Listen to their words.
I mean, yeah, truth again. It's one of those where it's who the fuck knows, man. Honestly, again, you guys decided to watch the Oz. You watched it before the end of the year. Electro saw a piece of it, but then again, yeah, when you showed me the preview to it, opposed
You
to
had zero interest.
no interest at all. I'd rather watch a deaf drummer fucking Amazon Prime movie.
Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it yet.
Did you see the Rock en Español stuff?
I
on
did watch
Netflix
that.
yet?
Shit's
Is
fire.
that yeah? It
It's
looks
pretty
so
good. It's really good, actually. I don't even want to go into it because
It's not.
no.
It's not.
But yeah, it's one of those things where, again, if I don't want to say it's forced because I could have totally not watched it and just spitballed the fuck out of this,
Mhm.
but just watching it, I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I did because I want to watch it again and
Yeah.
like really fucking amp up the volume and pay attention to all the little details and all that type of shit.
And again, I think it's a movie that will benefit from repeat watches.
Yeah, just like fucking Fight Club. You
Oh,
know
yeah.
what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Seven.
and again to bring up Christopher Nolan, Tenet. You know,
Right.
I want to bring up that parallel because both Christopher Nolan and David Fincher released movies this year.
Mm-hmm.
People did not like them.
No.
People were like,
It's a weird year.
no, like people. And I could see how both of those movies would be hard to sit through, right? They are. They require these are movies that require something of you. They're not just there for you to fucking blindly look at explosions or whatever titties, even though there is titties,
backwards fighting.
But they're movies that require your full fucking attention.
Right.
They require as much from you as you require from
And
it.
it's a test of the fucking time. Again, it's fucking 2020 right now. Tenet was what, 2.5, maybe 220.
I think it was like 220.
Okay,
Mank
Mank
was like 210.
Okay,
Yeah.
they're
Roughly the same length.
it's pretty long for the fucking Netflix viewer to date, right?
That's what I tell them.
And that's another thing about it. This movie, and again, I'm guilty of this. I only watched half of it the first time I watched it.
Mm.
And although I was enjoying it, I don't know, something came up and I could just turn it off. If I wanted to go see this at the movies, that's not an option.
Right. But you also have popcorn.
You gotta sit.
You got the fucking icy. You
Of
got
course.
the fucking thing. You got the
peanut
works.
M&Ms.
Yeah.
Of course.
I don't know
But
how
yeah.
that would have sounded.
I fucking missed that, dog. Straight up.
So much.
Dude.
Yeah.
You know how much we used to go to the
Like,
movies?
yeah, my app here is just non-active. It's fucking bullshit.
Cinemark, you pieces of shit.
Jesus Christ.
Anyways, to wrap up this movie,
Well, can I give
Yeah,
my
go-
final fact?
go
that I
ahead.
just,
Go ahead.
I just
Go
wanted
ahead.
to
Let's
bring
hear
it on
Go
here.
ahead.
Let's hear the Sound Bites
Go ahead.
exclusive
The
here.
final.
Let's hear it, us.
the final
from
bit.
the history man himself.
Yeah.
Again, really quick before we get into that, Ozzy, listen to his podcast, Salinas Underground Podcast.
Yeah.
He does go into history things in about Salinas or about the
California.
about our area. So if you are interested in finding out about that, you should go listen to Salinas Underground Podcast.
Or if you like cheese.
If you like cheese
Just
as
cheese
well.
in
I love
general.
cheese.
You're like, what cheese? What is that? What does
Then
that have
find
to do?
out why
Go.
Monterey Jack is called Monterey Jack in the
Exactly.
latest
Yeah.
episode of Salinas Underground
I went
Podcast.
deep, baby. I went deep.
It's a great episode.
170 years of cheese history.
Hell
I
yeah,
figured
baby.
out.
It's a great episode, and I'm gonna say it's probably because I'm a part of it. But whatever. I mean, you listen to it, you be the judge.
It's a cheesy episode.
Hell yeah.
Deep cheese.
But anyway, so at the end of the movie, spoilers.
Oh no.
th- what the hell was it called? I forgot what it was. Citizen Kane wins, and this is interesting. It was literally nominated for every single Oscar possible.
Yeah.
It was nominated for every single one possible, and it only won one, which is quite interesting.
Because they won for writing.
Yeah, it won for best screenplay. So it's like, why do people say it's the best movie ever? And it won one Oscar, and it was nominated for every single fucking one.
Again, one of my main points is that the Oscars are a fucking sham.
Yeah.
And you should never
Whoa,
fucking
dude.
listen
Whoa.
to like honestly, I will say it here now. Fuck the Oscars.
Wait, what if we get access to the Oscars, bro?
Well, then
Still.
the Oscars are great.
This is the Mank Award. We talk a lot of shit, but we're still
Hey.
partying.
Yeah.
We didn't mean it.
Yeah.
We were drunk.
We're
But
gonna,
anyway,
we're
in
gonna call it
that
the Mank.
in
Fuck
that
the Oscars.
in that scene, so Orson Welles is in South America shooting a movie.
In Rio, he's in Rio.
Oh, before that, should we talk about when Mank, or did we already talk about how Mank wanted credit? Did we already do that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. Continue.
I like not being the drunkest person on this show.
Hey.
But anyway, so
well, I'm doing this Mank style, like a true savant.
I like this movie so much.
I'm going Mank.
So again, in the award ceremony, they say, okay, they're not available. The guy that's saying this person that's going to accept the award for them, that voice, that's Mank's grandson.
Wow.
That did that little voiceover.
Wow.
bit
Interesting.
right there. That's right. You heard it here first, folks.
Hey,
Sons of
that's some
bitches.
serious-
This is where you come for the fucking real trivia tidbits.
Mhm. Straight up.
Rewatchables, fucking trash.
Go fuck
Yeah.
yourself, Bill Simmons.
You got it here. Solid bites.
I hope you break your knee soon.
Yeah. Oh,
I hope
fuck.
I hope you get a full recovery and shit. But I still hope you go.
Yeah, you
through
go
that
through some
knee break.
rehab. Get some rehabilitation.
Did he get hurt?
No,
Really?
I'm just wishing
just-
it upon.
Bill Simmons. You're right.
Trying to manifest it.
Yeah. Just
For
trying to
new
manifest
year,
the
using the
injury.
I'm
energy.
just trying to
Bill
make his
Simmons.
podcast fucking have greater gaps so that the movie Power Hour could swoop in.
Yeah.
They're all white, by the way. We're not.
All fucking Mexicans.
So-
We're all.
Is the
fucking-
rewatchables racist? I don't know. I'm not saying it might be.
Yeah.
I'm
I don't
saying
know.
I do know, and it is.
According to the research here,
Yes. But
Yeah, all the
anyway,
data shows.
so fucking Orson Welles throws a bitch fit, and he's just like, "Fine, you get credit, and like, but go fuck yourself. You'll never work for anybody again." And he doesn't.
he was right.
He doesn't. And so they play the actual recording of Orson Welles
Yeah.
accepting his Oscar, right?
Yeah.
And he basically tells Mank to kiss his ass.
He says kiss my half, but
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Half of what?
yeah.
His balls?
Oh yeah. Well, I was like, you're looking at me like,
Shaft?
yeah, of course.
Half shaft.
I mean, granted, Orson Welles.
A dick kiss.
Well, and he respected Mank
A
after.
peck.
He always spoke highly of him after all this happened.
Mm-hmm.
He really hated Houseman, the middleman. That guy and Orson Welles were enemies to the death.
Mm.
So while there was a kind of friction between Mank and Orson Welles respected him till he died.
Yes, but the movie ends in glory, and it only because of that little fucking speech. The speech that Mank gives when he's receiving his Oscar, and it looks like he's receiving it like in his front yard.
Yeah.
or something.
Like, yeah.
And he basically explains why him and Orson Welles were not at the Oscars accepting their Oscars together, right? And the line is just, it's pure beauty to me. It's just basically like, oh, like, well, they tell him what Orson Welles said, right? Did they explain it to him?
I don't know.
Maybe I'm sure they did.
Maybe-
Because it goes from one to the next.
Maybe they
Right.
did. Maybe
movie,
they
It was
yeah.
back to back right away.
And then so basically he's just like why why are you receiving your award like this? And he says that I'm receiving my award the same way that I wrote my script, like with the absence of Orson Welles. This is like, bitch, like I wrote this
Nice.
because of a fucking like contract. Fucking Orson Welles has his name on the screenplay, but I wrote it. And like we're saying he never did anything again, and this is his legacy and shit. But I think that is as triumphant as a legacy can fucking be. And I think, I mean, David Fincher is
Willing to put his on the line.
is contributing to giving credit to Mank and to being like, man, this is the genius behind Citizen Kane, even though Orson Welles gets all the fucking credit. Everybody gave Orson Welles, like, you made the greatest movie ever fucking made, but he didn't write it. This other man did, and there was friction between it and all this shit, but it never would have been without this fucking guy. And he could have fucking died young from fucking alcohol disease and all this shit. But at the end of the day, I look at it as a super triumphant story about a fucking man that fucking set his legacy and like fulfilled himself without like ever really fully getting credit up until maybe right now.
Yeah, and not only that, he didn't have to stroke the cock. He didn't have to fucking brown nose or anything, right? He was just him. He was the fucking, according to this movie and everything. And again, that truth may not ever be known. Who the fuck knows? You know, who knows what the fuck really happened? But the way it's told, and if Fincher's dad, you know, was a part of this shit. Who, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure. How old's that fucking man? Or how old was he?
Died in like 1993
You
or
know what I
something.
mean? Fucking old timer who's probably part of it, or at least a part of the Hollywood
Well,
fucking.
I mean,
machine.
if you look at who David Fincher is, you gotta assume his dad was some of that.
Right.
He had to have passed some of those traits on to him, and maybe he's not as successful as whatever. As we were looking into it, he was like a writer for like Life or Time magazine. I don't know.
Holy shit! Check out this connection I just
Woo!
made right here. Here's
What's
the
up?
bigger
Let's
connection.
hear it.
So, so Mank's brother, and this is where
Joe?
I do see what you say, like, oh, that was good and a good, last thing to do with Citizen Kane, but his brother Joe went on to have a very, very successful career.
Mm-hmm.
So you could kind of see that if Mank could, in a sense, rein his life in, he probably would be now known as one of the greatest screenwriters of all time, but he was his own biggest enemy and ended up killing himself,
Right.
before he can really, or again, before he could actually keep doing more things and really cement his place as his brother has. His brother is really, really well known in Hollywood and did a lot of things up until like the 80s when he passed away. So I wonder if that's also David Fincher saying, hey, check this out, dude. Like, my dad could have done way more shit.
But he died.
Yeah, exactly. Like this, I'm going to honor his legacy and then do this one thing that he did. But if he would have lived longer, and again, I'm just pulling this out of my ass. The guy could have been like 99 when he died,
Absolutely.
But I mean, I'm assuming he died a little bit younger than he was supposed to in the
Yeah.
90s, and Fincher's still around, and
Mhm.
that guy's what, in his 40s, 50s?
I'm assuming he's in his 50s.
Yeah, so again, his dad probably died younger than he was supposed to. So
Yeah.
maybe that's also another thing. I was like, dude, my pops was going to do a lot,
Yeah.
And this was his magnus opus, so I'm going to
I can only imagine, in the deepest of my imaginations, giving my father such a tribute.
Fincher, hit me up. Tell everybody you said that. Even if you didn't.
Like, Jesus.
You heard it here first.
Jesus Christ.
That's hardcore.
Like,
Curious.
I don't know. I feel like this movie, in a way, I don't think it's David.
He's 58. Fincher's 58. David Fincher's 58 years old right now.
So his father died like.
So 20 years ago was 2001? Holy fuck.
Yeah, so his dad died like about 30 years ago, 28 years ago.
So when he was in his 20s. So when Fincher was in his 20s, his father passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Young
so he
pup.
was young. Yeah. Yeah, so that also could be, again, something. Fincher, hit me up. Let me know if I'm right.
Yeah, and whatever. We all have dad issues, and we may or may not do the greatest things in our lives, either in tribute to our fathers or to spite our fathers.
If I don't, Faja, I'm coming after you.
His dad died at 72.
Damn.
Oh, his dad had him when he was older.
2003. He died in 2003.
He's a player then.
Mhm.
Strong seed.
Yeah.
All right.
That Mank blood, dude.
Oh,
I'm telling
man,
you.
God
Yeah.
bless him. Oh, no, Mank died way younger than
Yeah, it's 55, right? It says he died at 55.
Well, but
Yeah.
they had the coolness of it. I don't know.
I don't
Yeah,
know,
I'm
but
out.
there's a beauty to Mank having that moment, that like vindication of like, I did it. You know, I'm winning the Oscar for writing what I think is the best thing I've ever written. And I think, I mean, you die a happy man after that, right? No matter how young you fucking die.
Well, and we obviously said the Oscars are bullshit and all that, but in
Absolutely.
1942, it was a little bit more, I would think.
I mean, whatever. I think the Oscars are bullshit, but if I won one, I think they were the greatest thing ever fucking made.
I don't know. Homer won one, you know. So
Who, Homer
Simpson?
Simpson? Well, God bless him, man. He's a great
Yeah.
man.
Or was it a Golden Globe? I don't know.
I mean, anyway, we need to wrap this up. I think
Nerds.
I think we didn't do the best job of of going through this movie. But obviously I think we all fucking really fucking liked it. I don't know. I think in time it is gonna be known as a better movie than it is now to other people in the history of cinema or something. This is gonna be a great one day. And I wish to God that Gary Oldman would win an Oscar for this.
That'd be
fucking
awesome.
movie.
That'd be really sick.
Because honestly, this is I think the greatest performance that he's given in a very long. He is hilarious
Yeah, he's a
in this
funny guy.
fucking movie. He's so fucking good. His performance is great, and he's not the only one with a great performance. Great performances all around.
You have to pick one scene to like show to the Academy to be like, look, what scene would that be?
I say it's the fucking end speech in the movie where he kind of, I don't know, man. He not only lets the world know, but he's also saying it to himself, man. Like, fuck, like, I did this shit.
Mm-hmm.
I am like, I don't know, I am triumphant. At this point in my life, I wrote the greatest thing I ever wrote, and I have always thought I am like the smartest guy ever, and then I don't know, like,
Vindication?
yes,
Mhm.
I
like,
am the smartest. And it's in 1942.
Mhm.
he did it, and I said, like, fuck. After you write the best thing you, or not only like whatever, he's a writer, but after you do the greatest thing you could ever fucking accomplish in your life, I feel like you can die a fucking happy fucking man, no? Whether you could have lived a long life or not, man, just to be like, fuck, I did that.
And that's one of the things too. Going to your question now, as far as like the better scenes, is one of the last scenes there where he shows up to the table, and he's drunk out of his fucking mind,
Oh, of course.
and he's addressing everything and making parallels to La Leyenda de la Mancha, and he's just kind of, it's really trippy because people are leaving as he starts hitting these points. So again, I was telling you, like, I want to do some research and want to know those people who the fuck was at that table, and the certain things that they were saying, they were leaving as couples, meaning that their convictions were so strong that what he was saying, speaking his truth, despite of him still being shit on at the end, saying, hey, dude, you're just a funny guy. Like, we don't respect you on any other level. Like, you're a witty fuck. That's why we like you. So if you think that by you speaking your truth has any validation here, you're 100%
well, there's something
wrong.
There's something glorious.
That's what I'm saying.
There's something glorious about anybody that matters in a political stance tells you that you're a piece of shit, but then you still get recognition for your genius or your work or whatever. I don't know. There's something to that, man. And I mean, again, this character, as I said, he's like a very Hunter S. Thompson or what was the guy who wrote Post Office? What was his name? Bukowski. Generally remembered as like, I mean, they have a very bad reputation as pieces of shit.
Yeah.
But they wrote some great fucking American goddamn literature that will go down in history. And ultimately, that is their legacy, but it comes with weight. And I think that's what it comes down to with fucking Mank. Like, his genius had weight. And I think probably most geniuses all have fucking weight. And then I think that's where it goes. That's where it is, man.
I'm not that heavy, but thank you.
No, I'm not talking about you.
Not Oz.
I can carry you out of this room easy.
Just throw you on the back, carry you out.
Yeah. Anyway, we should wrap this up. I think we all fucking love this movie.
Yeah. Surprisingly, really enjoyed this fucking movie.
Yeah, we're gonna watch it again. We might have a fucking Mank 2 that comes up in a year or two or next week. We don't fucking know. We might watch this movie again and be like, "Fuck, we need to get another round in at Mank."
Hell yeah! So happy New Year's to everyone. The 2020 is over and nothing's gonna change for another fucking year. But
no,
Happy New Year.
The bad times will come, but Mank and his legacy live on. God bless America. God bless Donald Trump.
Thank you, Electro. Thank you, Oz. Thank you, Salad Bites Media.
And there he was, the man himself. God bless the Republican Party.
The Electro and Bono Movie Power